Psalm 32. David says, "Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity. He acknowledges his sin. He recommends that the righteous be glad in the Lord and rejoice." A Psalm of David, Maschil. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity, in whose spirit there is no guile. When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer, Selah. I acknowledged my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto the Lord, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin, Selah. For this shall every one that is godly pray unto thee in a time when thou mayest be found. Surely in the floods of great waters they shall not come nigh unto him. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance, Selah. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eyes. Be ye not as the horse, or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusteth in the Lord, mercy shall compass him about. Be glad in the Lord, and rejoice, ye righteous, and shout for joy, all ye that are upright in heart. I like this. It is. I probably should have put it much earlier on in his life. This idea that he confessed his sins. He didn't confess his killing Uriah. That had to be revealed through Nathan. So this most likely was written before the affair with Bathsheba. So this is another one. I'm starting to think that a lot of these psalms that I put later in his life actually belong much earlier, that he didn't do nearly as much writing as he got older. But it is a nice song. We don't have the whole judgments of David saying, oh, look at me, I'm such a great stuff, that God is preserving me and destroying everybody else. But we do have, and I like that I like the opening, that blessed is he who is forgiven of God, and those who are forgiven are those who confess. And then his final instruction or counsel to praise the Lord. It's a very nice song, but most likely belongs at a much earlier time in his life. But before I end it, there is a brief Joseph Smith translation. What Joseph Smith translation is, this is an inspired translation or correction of the Bible done by Joseph Smith to restore passages that had been lost over the years. Now we have 4 verses here that we have corrections for, so let us look at this. We read the King James for a refresher, and then the Joseph Smith. So, this is verse 1. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Joseph Smith corrects this. Blessed are they whose transgressions are forgiven, and who have no sins to be covered. Now that's an interesting change. Blessed is he who has no transgressions are forgiven, and no sins that need to be covered. Remember, transgression, any violation of the law is a transgression, but a sin is the willful and knowingly violating the law. To sin is to be in rebellion. To be in transgression is just to violate the law in some way. And so transgressions are more easily forgiven than sins are. Blessed is the man who's transgressed. Everybody transgresses the law. There's no mortal who hasn't transgressed the law in some way. Blessed is he whose transgressions are forgiven and who has never come out in open rebellion. I like that change. Verse 3. When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. So, Joseph Smith's correction. When I kept silence, my spirit failed within me. When I opened my mouth, my bones waxed old through my speaking all the day long. Now that, I'm not sure that makes sense. Let's read the next one. This one's verse 4. In the King James says, For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Selah. This is, For day and night thy spirit was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. Selah. You know, that makes me think this was written later in his life, because that almost sounds like he's talking about my spirit failed me when I kept silence. He didn't confess his sin with Bathsheba and Uriah, but then he says, when I opened my mouth, my bones waxed old through my speaking. And so now it's like saying the years have passed away, and you know, that I don't know. That's an interesting change. Anyways, let's look at this last one, verse 8. I will instruct thee, and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. That's interesting. It's actually the same verse, but he adds to the beginning of Joseph, adds this, Thou hast said, I will instruct thee, and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. In other words, the instruction is not coming from David. It's coming from God. That's also another interesting change. This might be written later in his life. As it stands in the King James, it would appear to be written earlier on, but with this change, I don't know. That's interesting.